Hi friends, so I have this picture that my girlfriend sent me that is of these beautiful white flowers. Let me show you 1 second here. So this is the flower. It's not in color. I'll try and get the original color, but it has this bright yellow in the middle, and I will Google and figure out what flower this is. I think she might have even told me. So I traced that on here with a light pad, or actually kind of by hand, and I used a little bit of tracing paper, but for the most part, a lot of it I did by hand. And I'm just gonna play here. So let's just see what I come up with. I really wanted to play with this Brusho again, and I've got some new colors here, so I'm looking at them right now. I've got like a yellow ochre, I've got moss green, terracotta, but the flower that I'm painting is bright yellow in the middle and white all along the edges. It's a gorgeous flower. So I'm painting on 100% cotton mead paper, by the way. I've got some olive green, burnt sienna, lime green. The lime green might be a color I can use. Okay, so that's what I've got here that I'm going to play with. Let's just see what happens. So I think what I will do first is I am going to, let's see, so there's 3 different ways to play with Brusho. And the first way is, let me move my drawing because I don't want to ruin it. The first way, actually, let's use this paper, is you can sprinkle it on here. And if you haven't used Brusho, they come in these little barrels, which will last you literally forever because you use so little of an amount. So the first way I use it is, you can't even see that. I know, that's how little you use. And then one of the Brusho packs I bought came with this little mister. You want to make sure you have a fine mist. So I'm just going to spray this, and it creates a really gorgeous background. So look at that. You don't need too much water. I hardly had any on there, and look what it did. So you can do it like that. You can use it like that. And let me grab a brush here. You can also use it, let's use this brush. This is my brush, by the way, coming out next week. So you've got that. Now you could also move that around, and I've showed you this before, but you can also create like this wash, and it still has those colors. So the first way I showed it would be a really cool background, which is what I'm going to kind of try to do with these flowers I'm doing. The second way you can use it would be, my gosh, I feel like I'm missing everything here. I just went to the mountains today, and oh, here it is. And I had all my stuff with me. So the second way you can use it is, I just put a tiny bit of Brusho in a palette. Hold on 1 second. Let's see here. Let's just use, let me find a clean palette here. My goodness, you guys, pardon me. Let me find a palette. Let's use this. Okay, so I've got a palette here. And I'm just going to put, sorry about that. I'm just going to put a tiny bit of the yellow ochre. Let's use a different color. Let's use sandstone or lime green. And I'm going to sprinkle a tiny bit of it in here. So like hardly any, you probably can't even see it. But watch what happens when I activate that. Like, look how much there is. So you can use it like that, and then just use it like a watercolor. So point press like that. You can make some leaves. point press. Isn't that a gorgeous green? And what I really enjoy about the these watercolor Brusho, the little crystals, is you can really blend a lot. So you get all these fun shades because the brushes are created, like the yellow, they're using all different colors, and once you get it wet, it turns into the color yellow. So look at how beautiful that is. So that's the second way you can paint it. The third way is you can wet your paper first. Like, let's actually paint a leaf. Oh. So I'm just going to use a wet brush, point press, and here is a leaf. And then I can sprinkle in that lime green, and it creates this beautiful effect. Now I could still go in like I did up there and just mix some of that, but I think it's really pretty when it's just very textury like that. I think that's really, really cool. So these are 3 ways that I've been playing with this watercolors. Let's do like a flower petal. So just create some petals here. And now I'll use, let's use rose red. Hardly any. And you get this fun color. Then you can go in and leave some of it so it kind of looks textured. Or you can blend it like I'm doing here. So the fun part about this right now is I could go in with my yellow. Where is my yellow? Here it is. And add that in. And then, so I'm going to combine all of the ways to use it here and then spray it. And I get this fun blend, which you saw me do in a tutorial recently. Now, if that color is too bright for you, just take a paper towel and pick some of it up. Look how pretty. Same with that leaf. If that's just too bright for you, or like that is way too bright green, just pick some of it up. So those are some ways that I've been playing with this. And I've been really having some fun. So there you go. All right, so what I want to do today, where did my painting go, or my picture? So I've got this flower that I did, and I'm going to try and I just want to play today. And I'm going to go into the middle and get it wet. Now I could do this 2 different ways. I could get it wet first and then spread in the Brusho, but I think what I want to do, these flowers have a bright yellow center, so let's grab that bright yellow. I also have this yellow. Let's see, what's this called? Sunburst Lemon. Ooh, I think I want to use that one. I haven't even used this one before. So let's just take the lid off. I'll put the supply to all my links below too. Oh my gosh, okay. Let's try and poke a hole, because I don't ever want to take the lid off, really. You would have an explosion of colors. So let's just make a hole here. And I'm going to spray it right in the middle. Not spray it, kind of shake it. Just a little bit, not too much. And now I'm going to take this little spray bottle. I actually have another spray bottle too that would be really cool. It's really tiny and thin. That would have even a smaller spray. Let's try that one. This one. It's they call it a mister. I don't even know where I got this. I don't remember. Oh, Ranger. Okay. So let's try that, because you want a fine mist. So I'm going to spray this Look, that's exactly what I want. You know what? I will see if I can figure out where I got this from. It's called Mini Mister by Ranger. Or if you have something like this, rangerink.com. So I'll see if I can find a thing for that. And then I'm going to go in with my tiny brush. And I'm just going to maybe create some lines here, because this flower had this bright yellow center. It was just gorgeous, like that. And then what I want to do is just go very lightly with, let's see what color here. Let's go with a bluish, and I'm going to use my paints for this. So I've got some blue here, and I'm really going to use a light value, light value. So probably I'm going to say 20% pigment, 80% water. I could use it in here as well. I've already got some in here. And I'm just going to go in, because most of my leaf is, I'm sorry, my petal is white. But I'm going to go in, so see, that's too dark. I'm going to go in and start laying down some water. Now I've got some yellow on there, which is fine. And then I'll go in with kind of those little shadowy colors and lay that down and let it go into those areas. It turned a bit yellow because barely any of that Brusho was on my paper. So I really like the way that looks. Let's go into the next one here. Now this petal I made kind of turned up. I'm looking at my picture here. So I want to go ahead, and I've got some of that Brusho on there again, so it's turning a little bit yellow, which is fine. And I'm going to add in some of that shadowy color. That's a little bit more than I want. So I'm going to add some more water. And I can dampen this, like get rid of some of that color by just, again, maybe blotting a little bit. Keep in mind, this is going to lessen up as it dries. So there you go. And then I want to go into the center here with a little bit of orange. Now that Brusho has dried. And just darken that up a bit, maybe even with some of the color I used for the shadows here. There you go. And then I'm drying off my brush, and I'm just going to pull some of that out. There we go. We can also lift. There we go. Maybe use a tiny bit of that dark color I have in here. Doing a little bit of like negative painting. There we go. Okay. Let's use some of that gray and go in here. Because for the most part, this petal is really shadowy. So I want to get a lot of shadow in here. Now look at that. Look how light that is. That is barely any color there at all. I'm even gonna lighten that up a bit more. And because I'm using some Prussian gray, it's going to look like green because it's got some of that yellow in it. So let's go in here again. And I'm going to just start playing with some of these shadows. Getting, oop, that, I picked up some blue there. Don't really want that. So this flower is really like papery thin. I want the tiniest bit of that. See, that's way, way, way too much. So I'm barely picking up any. Might even add some of that. And just adding in some shadows. And then the other thing I really wanted to do was I wanted to go around these white edges with like that bright green. Where did I put that bright green? We could even use sea green. Let's see what that color is. Let me poke a hole because these are brand new. Okay, I'm gonna put a tiny bit on here. Like you can't even see it. That's how little I put on there. Ooh, look at that. That is quite bright. I think what I'll do is mix that. That is like an emerald green. Let's mix that with a little bit of our, what was that green I used? Lime green. I kind of like the lime green. Which is so funny, if you can see it there, it looks orange. So I really like that color. I'm gonna go around and then I'm gonna pull this out. So wash my brush and go right up against that edge. And pull that color out. A little bit more water. Really rinse my brush. Yeah, I like that. Could maybe try a tad bit of that bright green. Isn't that pretty? Pick some of that up. So pretty. If you want a not such a hard edge there, I will take a tissue and just kind of pick that up. There we go. Isn't that pretty? It's kind of fun, isn't it? And then I'm going to go into my orange and add some orange in here. Like that. There we go. So I'm really liking that green in there. I'm going to add a tiny bit more right here. Love that it just spread out like that. Yeah, I like that. Like literally the tiniest block there with this Brusho. And we could even do that spray in the background, I think would be really pretty. Let's go in with a little bit more of that gray, the tiniest, tiniest drop of gray. And I'm gonna go into this back petal and just add in some lines here. Now when I touch that yellow, it turns kind of yellow. So I want to pick up some more of that gray, like tiniest bit here. And just go in for those shadows. And maybe some negative painting around these yellow things sticking out, like that. There we go. And then some dots of orange. Some come out like this. So I'm really playing here, you guys. I am learning about this Brusho as I go. Truly. That was some yellow. And then I want this really deep brownish, maybe Van Dyke brown, right in the center. A little bit more water. Really a dark brown, chocolatey brown. Might even add some of that black. Just dark brown. Could even add some green. That might darken it up a bit. And then tap. And right in the center, barely. I'm just using the very tip of my brush. So there you go. That is how I might outline this. Now I feel like I want to go around the flower and add in, let's sprinkle a little Brusho here and just see what happens. Let's see, let me find my, not olive green, I want lime green. So let's just put a little here, like hardly any. That was way too much. So I need to maybe try and pick that, well, too late. And let's use this, and I'm gonna shoot it up here. And then carry that around my flower. Just to do some negative painting. Isn't that fun? And let's lighten that up just a tiny bit. There we go. Really fun. I can go into the Brusho that I made right here and kind of tap in. Add some water with a damp brush. And look at all the beautiful colors you get. So you can just keep kind of going around the edge here. Some water. Oop. And that green you're seeing is in the yellow, because the Brusho has all these different colors in it, which I love that about the Brusho. If I want to pick up some of that, I can pick some up. And then maybe I want to go in here with some of that green. Maybe mix these two. So I'm just really playing here right now. wet brush, pull it out, just feathering that edge. There we go. But I love this, and I can even add a little bit more of that. Where is my green? It might be too dry already. Yeah, I think it's too dry. Like barely any, you guys. And then use my mister again. Like that. And that was the yellow. So let's see, where is the green? Let's get a little bit of that. I like the lime green. Where is the lime green? Here it is. I like that color. And missed that. I think that's really pretty. Again, if I want to kind of dampen that up, I can do something like that. And move it around, so I'm negative painting around some of this flower. So right now I'm just kind of experimenting. Let's go into that green again. And tap in. I'm wondering, let's see what the olive green might look like. Although I really like the dark green. Let's see what that olive green is. Ooh, it's really dark. Let's see what that might look like. Ooh, that's kind of pretty. Just playing with some of these colors is awfully fun. Trying to kind of pick out some of those yellow. Again, some negative painting for that yellow. So there you go, something different. I just wanted to play with this a bit and show you, like, sometimes just having fun with some of this stuff is how you're really going to discover some ways to paint with these things, some techniques. So let's even carve out, maybe right here, a little leaf. So I'm going to, let's see, let's carve out maybe a leaf in here. Give me 1 second. How do I want my leaf to come out? I feel like I want a branch coming down here. So let's do this. Let's wet this. And then throw in some of that green. This is the lime green. Just a tiny bit. Spray it. Just kind of moving it around. And then I'm going to lighten it up with my towel. And now I want to carve out a little leaf and a stem. So I'm going to take my green and start creating negative space for a stem. I could even use just my watercolors, like such. And then let's get the other side of that stem. Now I might have to lift some of that up, like that. Choose a chisel brush. Where is my chisel brush, my angle brush? Well, we can use this too. And lift that out. You could also, I've seen people use some bleach, but I don't really want to go there. And then once that dries, I can maybe paint in a leaf around the leaf. Something like that, so you have that little petal or leaf in there. And let's dry that a bit. And still a little wet. Want to go along the edge there and pull out that stem. So it's a hint of that stem there. And if I was to draw a leaf here, I would just, that you can see a little bit easier. I would just pull out the edges of that leaf, painting around it. Like that. If you don't like that line, you can always pick it, blot it up down there. Now I could go in darker and darker. So let's grab, we have that olivey color. Where is my olive? Damp brush. and it gives that illusion that there is a stem there. I'm going to darken this one up just a bit. Pulling that out. Like that. So it's really giving the feeling there's a stem there without actually painting the stem. See that? And I can even go in here and pull out that leaf. There we go. So I'm giving the illusion of these things. Maybe down here. There you go. All right, well, that was just some fun play here on a Sunday evening. See what you think. I think this brush show can be really fun, and I hope we can start playing a little bit more with this. I feel like on this one, I want to define in between those petals a little bit more. Here's my olive green, so I could keep playing with this. And just pull that out, just to kind of give that backgroundy color. Let's see, my lime green, I'm going to put that in here. Really like that Brusho lime green. I think that's really a pretty color. And maybe right here, just to pop out the edge of that flower, because the edge of that flower is very white. There's no paint on it, so pulling it out, you can really see that edge now. And then let's just add in a tiny bit of this olive green. And I'll smooth that out in a minute. So rinse my brush. And there you go. And it pops that flower petal out. Okay, I'm gonna stop right here. I want to be playing with this a lot more, and I'll be sharing with you my journey for this, and maybe you'll even join me and get your Brusho and kind of start playing with me as we learn this. But I think it's valuable because I think you can see clearly. I don't know what I'm painting here all the time either. I'm always playing. All right, everybody, happy painting. Thanks for sticking with me here, and let's keep having some fun.